I heard George Lucas has finally seen the film.
Yes.
Were you more nervous showing it to him or the executives at Disney?
You know, I was terrified showing it to the executives at Disney because I was there. Kathy Kennedy showed the movie to George at the ranch, but you know, I didn't realize how relieved I was until after George had seen it.
I heard that when John Williams was scoring 1941, Steven Spielberg jumped in and joined with the orchestra and played part of the music. But you one-upped him with The Force Awakens. You wrote part of the music in the film in one of the scenes, correct?
Well, sort of. First of all, I've never one-upped him, and nor will I. But what I did was when John, who is just the greatest person walking the face of the earth, I think, when John said that he would rather not write the music for this one particular scene, which is sort of, if there's an equivalent to our sort of saloon scene, it's that. I thought, okay, well, we got to figure out something. I started working on a piece of music just as a sort of an example or a template for what it might become. But I was frankly very busy with editorial. I happened to go see Hamilton in New York, which is just a musical that you can't oversell. It's so incredible. And at the intermission, Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote and performs in the film, in the play, came up to me and my son and said, "Hey, I'm Lin. I just want to say hello." And I was just so happy to meet him. And he said almost immediately, "If you want me to write the music for the cantina scene, let me know." And I was like, "What?" It's so strange he would say that because it literally was the thing I needed. So I ended up sending him an email and saying, "Look, if you're serious, we should talk about this." So anyway, he and I ended up writing and playing on and performing this piece of music that takes place in the scene. And it didn't get, it wasn't orchestrated. There was no, stepping up and recording it with the orchestra. We did it together.
When the first Star Wars came out, it was unique in that it had sci-fi with spaceships, robots, lasers, and everything, but it also had a supernatural element with ghosts and the Force. Did you feel a need to get back to some of that in The Force Awakens?
Well, I know that some people perceive Star Wars as a science fiction story, and I always sort of felt it was more like a fairy tale, or a kind of fantasy. The fantasy element was what allowed something like the Force or Force ghosts, the idea of a kind of spiritual world that connects us all, to exist so comfortably. It actually feels, in a weird way, almost counter science fiction. So it wasn't something to go back to. It was something that we were lucky enough to get to inherit in working on this movie.
I'm curious about your long walks in the park with Lawrence Kasdan. Did you discuss the nature of the Force? Why is it driving some people one way and some people another?
Sure. I mean, first of all, the experience of writing the script with Larry Kasdan was amazing, and he was someone who I'd never met, but looked up to so enormously. He was like a hero of mine, having written, not just Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, but also Raiders, and having directed and written, Body Heat and Big Chill. He's just amazing. We talked about everything. Went for these endless, walks, and we would record our conversations. But the conversation about the Force was especially powerful for me because he created Yoda. He wrote some of the greatest, lines about the Force ever. There's another came from him. That's just nuts to me, that he did that. So, the idea of the Force being something that is seductive, the idea that it is something that, that it's easier to be on the dark side in a way, and that it is a pull, that idea of greed being something that can seduce you, power can seduce you, but the Force is at the heart of Star Wars. It is the thing that is, I think, the most profound. And we knew we were telling a generational story about the discovery of that very thing, and to have Han Solo, of all characters, be legitimizing and basically teaching these new, kids in this world the idea that the Force is real, that the Jedi are real, was an incredible thing to watch.